Imagine waking up tomorrow morning completely free from the weight of procrastination. Imagine a life where the urge to delay, the comfort of the blanket, and the endless scroll of cheap dopamine no longer hold any power over your actions. We live in an era where laziness is not just a personal flaw, it is an industry. Entire algorithms are engineered to capture your attention, weaken your resolve, and keep you trapped in a cycle of comfort that slowly erodes your potential. But deep down, you already know the cost of this comfort. You know the quiet guilt that settles in at the end of a wasted day, the heavy realization that you are actively choosing to let your prime years slip through your fingers. The ancient Stoics did not look at laziness as a mere lack of energy. They viewed it as a betrayal of human nature, a slow surrender of the soul to the gravity of decay. When the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius struggled to get out of bed on cold mornings, he did not look for a quick motivational fix. He did not wait for inspiration to strike. He reminded himself of his fundamental duty to the universe, understanding that every moment spent in useless comfort was a moment stolen from his destiny. This is not another standard motivational speech filled with temporary hype. This is a deep, uninterrupted philosophical journey into the mechanics of your own mind. We are going to strip away the illusions of modern comfort and look directly into the mirror of Stoic reality, exploring how you can permanently break the chains of laziness and master an unbreakable inner discipline that remains steady, regardless of how you feel. If you're ready to stop negotiating with your weaknesses, sit back, eliminate all distractions, and let this narrative sink into your consciousness. The human mind naturally gravitates toward the path of least resistance because it is wired to survive, not to achieve greatness. In the ancient world, survival meant conserving energy, avoiding unnecessary danger, and resting whenever food was abundant. But in the modern world, this biological mechanism has become our greatest prison. We are surrounded by artificial abundance and digital traps that exploit our primitive instincts every single second. When you choose to lie in bed, avoiding the tasks you know you must complete, you are not resting, you are hiding, you are allowing your lower, animalistic self to dictate the trajectory of your existence. Stoicism demands that we recognize this division within ourselves. There is a part of you that craves growth, discipline, and honor, and there is a part of you that simply wants to consume, sleep, and remain comfortable. The Greek philosopher Epictetus taught that freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want. True freedom is the total mastery over your own desires and impulses. A person who cannot control their own mind, who cannot force their body to move when it is time to work, is not free. They are a slave to their comfort, a captive to their immediate feelings. To overcome the paralysis of laziness, you must first change how you view your feelings. Modern culture tells us that we must feel inspired, motivated, or energetic before we take action. This is a profound lie that guarantees stagnation. If you only work when you feel like working, you will fail. The Stoics understood that action precedes emotion, not the other way around. The Roman philosopher Seneca wrote extensively about the shortness of life, warning that while we spend our time delaying our duties, life speeds by. We talk about waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for our mood to improve, or waiting for tomorrow, but tomorrow is an illusion. The only reality that exists is the present moment, and every time you choose laziness over action, you are actively throwing away the only currency that truly matters, your time. Consider the reality of your mortality. The Stoics practiced a concept known as memento mori, the constant remembrance of death. This was not a morbid or depressing practice, but a tool for ultimate clarity. Once you realize that your time on this earth is finite, that you have a limited number of mornings to wake up and a limited amount of energy to expend, laziness becomes absurd. Procrastination relies on the arrogant assumption that you will always have more time. You tell yourself that you will build that business tomorrow, that you will fix your health next week, or that you will master your mind when things settle down, but you have no guarantee of tomorrow. When you look at your tasks through the lens of your own mortality, the small anxieties and discomforts that cause laziness suddenly vanish. The cold shower, the difficult book, the complex project, the grueling workout, all of these things shrink in comparison to the immense tragedy of a wasted life. To build an unbreakable discipline, you must construct an internal fortress that is completely independent of external circumstances. This means dismantling the habit of making excuses. The world outside will always provide you with reasons to be lazy. The weather will be too cold, the economy will be too uncertain, people will be too distracting, and your body will feel too tired. If your discipline depends on external conditions being perfect, you will remain fragile. Marcus Aurelius governed the Roman Empire during a time of devastating plague, constant betrayal, and endless warfare. Yet his private journals reveal a man focused entirely on his own character and actions. He wrote that a person should be like a rocky promontory against which the waves continually break, yet it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. Your laziness is simply a wave breaking against you. If you allow it to move you, you are weak. If you stand firm, continuing your work despite the discomfort, the feeling of laziness will eventually shatter against your resolve. This transformation requires a radical shift in your daily choices, moving away from immediate gratification and toward voluntary discomfort. We have become so fragile because our environment is too soft. We have temperature-controlled rooms, food delivered to our doors, and entertainment at our fingertips. When life is too easy, the slightest amount of friction feels like a mountain. By choosing to incorporate small acts of voluntary discomfort into your life, you train your mind to handle greater challenges. When you intentionally choose the harder path, whether that means waking up early, eating simple food, or resisting the urge to check your phone, you are building mental calluses. You are teaching your brain that comfort is not your master. You are proving to yourself that you can experience discomfort and still function perfectly. When major challenges arrive, or when you face a massive project that requires weeks of intense focus, your mind will not panic. It will recognize the friction as familiar territory. True discipline is not an aggressive, chaotic burst of energy. It is a quiet or rhythmic and consistent devotion to your duties. It is the ability to show up every single day to doing the work when no one is watching, when there is no immediate reward, and when you receive no applause. The Stoics did not seek the validation of the crowd. They sought the approval of their own conscience. When you perform a task, do it because it is the right thing to do, because it aligns with your highest self. Let go of the need for immediate results. Laziness often thrives when we focus too much on the massive scale of our goals, causing us to become overwhelmed and frozen in place. Break your existence down to the present second. Do not worry about the next 6 months or even the next week. Focus entirely on the immediate task in front of you. If you are writing, focus on the next sentence. If you are working out, focus on the current repetition. If you are building, focus on the single brick you are laying right now. By narrowing your vision to the absolute present, you eliminate the mental weight that fuels procrastination. You become untouchable. As you step forward from this moment, remember that every choice you make is a vote for the person you want to become. Choosing laziness is a vote for weakness, obscurity, and regret. Choosing discipline is a vote for strength, sovereignty, and inner peace. The time for negotiation is over. The excuses have run out. Wake up, face the friction of existence, and master your life with the unwavering clarity of a Stoic warrior.